It's your boy Miguel Z with the Value of Wrestling New Japan Rebound Podcast. I've got a guest for you folks at StocktonCon.
What up, everybody? AJ Kirsch here, the voice and the host of StocktonCon. The value of wrestling is awesome, so subscribe on YouTube. Scan the QR code right here, now. Subscribe, check it out.
There we go.
You'll be glad you did.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, that's what. Hey, man, shout out the Value of Wrestling. I'm right here with the Big O's, San Jose. We're going to shut the shit down. Love and respect, all right? Value of Wrestling. Hello.
Man, thank you, brother.
Oh, you didn't know, you better call somebody and let them know. We are live, we are here. Ladies and gentlemen, right here on the Value of Wrestling, right here on YouTube, right here, doing what we do each and every week with your weekly Roundup podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here to talk about everything that's gone down this week in professional wrestling. We're going to break it down, so I hope you're ready to party, la-de-da-de. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome my co-host for tonight, the man behind it all, the mastermind behind Tampon Bucks, the one, the only, Paulus Clarke. Yes. Okay, Mr. Kennedy. Anyway, our other host, the master behind New Japan Pro Wrestling, the man who knows it all, the Encyclopedia Britannica for New Japan Pro Wrestling, the one, the only, Mr. Miguel Z. Our very own Z-Man, as you want to call it. Anywho, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Welcome to the party. La-de-da-de, welcome. We hope that you're enjoying this. We hope that you're here, joining the chat, joining the conversation. And we're going to get into this show in just a moment. We're going to talk about AEW. Is it an all-elite fail? And are we going to look at a King and Queen of the Ring tournament that's setting things up for a bright future in WWE? What happened on Saturday? We'll get to touch on that with some of the big events in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Who showed up and ruined the show? Who poo-pooed all over it? Who drove over from Rancho Cucamonga? The Cucamonga. I can't say like Jim Cornette. Rancho Cucamonga Kids. There we go. I got it out. But before we get too far deep in the show, before we really get the party started and get lottie-dottie doing it like we always do it, we need to talk about our partner, a friend, an ally to the channel. If you're looking for Funko Pops, hey, we have a great hookup for you. This is the Value of Wrestling on the Big Tyme, and I'm here with some great news. Are you a Funko Pop collector? Are you searching for some hard-to-find Funko Pops? Are you just looking to complete a collection? Well, the Value of Wrestling is teamed up with the Goldmine. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Goldmine, which can be found on Facebook, or by going to the description below and clicking the link, you can sign up to join the Goldmine, who will help you find those hard-to-find, rare pops. They'll help you complete your collection. Just let them know when you're signing up what Funko Pops you're looking for and that the Value of Wrestling sent you. The Goldmine, the ones that are going to help you to find those rare to find pops and help you finish your collection, all can be done at the Goldmine. Sign up today and make sure you tell them the Value of Wrestling sent you. Oh, yeah, we're back in. If you're looking for Funko Pops, whether they're WWE like the ones I have behind me, or any other Funko Pops, go to Facebook. The link is in the description. You can sign up for the group. Go in there. Tell them that the Value of Wrestling sent you. Let them know what pops you're looking for. They love to connect you with those hard-to-find, those holy grail Funko Pops. If you tell them what Funko Pops you really want, they are going to go and do all that legwork to help you find it, bring it to you at a reasonable price. They're not out here to price gouge you. I know Mr. Z is dying to get inside the gold mine. I can't wait for today to hopefully get to go over there with him and let him be a little kid for a little while as he digs through the hundreds of thousands of Funko Pops from every genre, every section that you can think of. Yeah, check it out. Goldmine Facebook group. Gentlemen, are we ready to talk some wrestling?
Let's get ready to talk about it.
Let's do it. Gentlemen, how do you feel about this week in professional wrestling? Mr. Clarke, it's your opening statement.
You know, I'm glad we don't have this on the poll on which show was the best, because I'm going to diss some of y'all. But the only one who's probably going to agree with me, though, is Mr. Z. I think the best show was Resurgence.
Mr. Z, your opening statements for tonight's show.
Resurgence,
you think?
hands down. New Japan brought it this week. They had a stellar match last night. That's. We'll talk about that soon. But yeah, that for me. Other than the fact that they have a king, other than the fact that WWE has the king and queen of the ring tournament going on right now, which is great. And from what I've seen, there's a lot of sleepers in this tournament that have advanced. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next.
Welcome to the chat. If you're here, make sure you hit that like button and go ahead and join the conversation in the chat. Tell us what your favorite show is. The only thing I would say to that is it fair to take the TV shows and compare them to a pay-per-view show? I know it's probably the best.
Life is fair. It's whatever you enjoy.
Well, Tony Khan doesn't think life's fair, but that's a whole different story.
Wednesday.
Well, I mean, you watched that review show on Wednesday. I know I did it solo, and I couldn't. I don't even know how I must have thrown that. Anyways, we have Matthew Underwood in the chat. How about the NWA with 2 territory shows, a joint show with WWC, the Crockett Cup coming up, and another territory soon to be announced in San Antonio, and Billy Carneyland's show debuting Tuesday. Yes.
Oh yeah. I can't wait till Tuesday. I can't.
Go ahead, Mr. Clarke. You're more in tune to that. Tell us about Billy's Carneyland, as it actually is, not a joke. But yes, go ahead.
So basically, it's a reality show that follows Billy Corgan around. Some of it's gonna be about music. Some of it's gonna be about the NWA. Different celebrities, different things. But it's like just like when he was a part of Resistance Pro, the indie that he was a part of, they were supposed to get a reality show, and for whatever reason didn't take part. Now that he's got the NWA, he's finally got that reality show he's wanted. It also kind of ties into something that the NWA was trying to do a few years back during 2020. That had to do with Conland. I don't remember all the specifics anymore, but basically it's like everything he's been working towards between having a reality show and having his NWA shows is finally coming to fruition. And just the idea that it's like we get to have a behind the scenes look at what happens in the NWA, what happens with the Smashing Pumpkins, etc. I mean, I'm hyped for it.
No, and I think that's going to be good stuff. That's going to be interesting what Billy Corgan brings to the table in this. And Billy Corgan, if you don't know, runs NWA, the NWA, right? Mm-hmm. His territory, because NWA has had several different NWA Hollywood, NWA. So, but Billy Corgan's the big guy behind NWA nowadays. He's an owner of some type.
He is the owner. He owns the intellectual property. So what they've done now is he consolidated everything under the NWA as one show, as with NWA Power, and then slowly started making partnerships and done joint shows with other promotions. And now there's a few NWA territories, as Matthew Underwood has pointed out.
Yes. So NWA is owned by Billy Corgan. Billy Corgan, in case you don't know, or if you're new to the party or think that Billy Corgan's just somebody who's been involved in the wrestling scene, no, Billy Corgan, if you want to go back, is the lead singer to Smashing Pumpkins, a very popular band of the 90s in that era. I don't know what I would categorize.
Music to this day, though.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And even more impressively, Randy Travis just came out with a new song, for a man who can't even talk or sing. They were able to use AI technology to bring Randy Travis out with a new song. So that's impressive. But yes, the Smashing Pumpkins are always bringing out new music, new stuff. And Smashing Pumpkins, I don't know, what would they be categorized under the 90s music?
Alt rock.
Rock, yeah, okay. I don't know if they were partly grunge or part alternative or where they fall. I guess it just depends.
Well, alt rock's kind of the umbrella term, if you will.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Smashing Pumpkins, a lot of great songs there. Some of them were very interesting music videos, if you can watch some of those. There used to be a time where MTV showed music videos. Nowadays, I mean, they worry about other things that we won't get into.
Don't you just feel like Grandpa Simpson saying that, though? Well, back in my day, MTV used to show music videos.
Yes, it was hard. It's hard trying to explain to my kids that there was actually nothing but music videos on MTV.
Do we know?
And they look at me like I'm crazy.
Do we know what year MTV debuted on TV?
My birth year, 1981.
thought it was 82. But, okay. What was the first official music video played on MTV?
I don't remember off the top of my head. I've seen this trivia before, but I don't remember.
Video killed the radio star.
That's right.
Nice.
Video killed the radio star. Anyways, enough MTV trivia, but yes, flashback to the days, back in the days, going back in time. Anywho, thinking back in time, it seems like Tony Khan's living in 1990, trying to recreate some essence of the NWO and doing a miserable job. This bullcrap of a show, this bullcrap of a build to a pay-per-view that is just like, I don't know how they expect anybody to pay them $50 to watch a show that they don't seem to care about. I see your tweet. I see your comment here.
Who's gonna buy it? We already know. We already know who's gonna buy it. Some of us don't want to.
It looks like Matthew Underwood's telling us EC3 and Lord Cruz going to All Japan. And EC3 will defend there. You have somebody who's keeping us up.
That belt at SPW a couple months ago, and retained it. So good for him.
SPW is that yeah,
Pro Wrestling Sacramento. Yep.
Yeah, we don't give a.
Yeah, I know. I get it, but I was just making it known that he was out here.
Awesome. Well, it looks like he's going to go to All Japan, formerly NWA Japan. Thank you for bringing that up to our attention, Mr. Matthew there. Mr. Clarke's the big guy who knows about some of that stuff. Mr. Z's keeps in touch with some of the local stuff, but Mr. Clarke's definitely into the NWA, and he's trying to bring NWA, Ring of Honor, and all these other companies to the channel with different programs. Trying to give them love. I know when we first started this, me and Mr. Clarke, because Mr. Clarke tried to give love to NWA and UWF, and yeah.
Do you really want to? You trying to give me nightmares about UWF?
You can be watching
right here on Value of Wrestling.
And the promotion still exists. I don't know how. I at least understand why the NWA still exists. I don't understand how.
Anyways, back to AEW. We're going to get into this AEW with this all elite garbage. It doesn't make sense. We have a pay-per-view that feels like they're lacklustering build to
AEW.
Anyways, I know people are trying to compare the elite to this NWO, but I mean, at least the NWO felt impressive. NWO had you watching every week. NWO, you were either waiting to see who was going to join next or who they were going to tear apart. I mean, there was one episode where NWO crashed the back, threw Rey Mysterio like a long dart into the TV truck. We're beating everybody that was walking around in the back, beating people so bad that people that were living in the area of the MGM Grand Disney Studios where they were filming this were calling the police, and the people on TV watching from home were calling the police because they believed it was so real that the WCW was actually under attack by this rogue organization. And people were pissed off. People were scared of them. People were trying to figure out, what do we do? How do we stop this? Now you get to AEW. We get to AEW on TBS, on TNT. We get this stuff. We got this 4-man band, 3 midgets, and then, their vanilla white giant of soft serve ice cream. And we get the most boring and depressing faction. I mean, this is like, if I went to Temu and wanted to buy Evolution, this is what I would wind up getting. I mean, this is just, nobody's mad.
That, though.
What?
The BWO is more impressive than the Elite right now.
At least the BWO served a bigger purpose than the Elite. Okay, so we know the 2 Tampon Bucks. Their contracts are ironclad. They can't be fired. But we just had Munchkin boy Jack Perry get suspended indefinitely. He's been unsuspended. Why can't we suspend him or fire him again? I mean, where is the storyline in that? And why is Tony Khan and Kenny Omega not showing any anger? Where is Tony Khan? I mean, these boys are running ripshot over your show and basically put you out of commission, and you don't really have nothing to say. You're not going to fight back. Are you that big of a pussy? And hell, CM Punk did nothing to you, and you cried on TV. Tell me I'm telling lies. This mother trucker went on national TV. Goes, I was scared.
No, he's too busy
I was
trying
scared
to
for
dance.
my. Oh, I know he's got a neck brace on and wants to dance with Daniel Garcia, but he's got the hooey dooey Louie of professional wrestling out here making a mockery of him, and he's not angry. And Kenny Omega, I'm glad he's in a hospital bed. It kind of fits the story, but where is Kenny Omega's anger? Where is his, I don't even know if Kenny Omega can get angry, though. I just the way he comes off, I don't know if he has anger in him. He's just Mr. Cool Hand Luke, which is great, but I'm like, I need to see somebody get mad, and now we're supposed to buy into Team AEW, FTR, Eddie Kingston, and Bryan Danielson. Now, I get it, Eddie Kingston fits into that idea. Bryan Danielson's Mr. AEW. I get where these guys fit into being Team AEW, but tell me how we really supposed. What have they done to make us want to get behind Team AEW? What have they done to make us feel like, yay, like they did when WCW banded together to try to take down the NWO? Yes, we knew they were kind of fighting an uphill battle, but we were still behind the underdogs of WCW. We were there. We were passionate. We wanted to see them take it down. And then we got Sting, the outside guy that wasn't really aligned with anybody, but he was here to help save the day and help, save people. I mean, he opened the eyes of the Macho Man. He helped, different guys throughout his time. But and here's the big thing: AEW doesn't have their superhero. There is nobody on their roster to be a superhero right now. Bryan Danielson's winding down, so it can't be him. Eddie Kingston's great, but they ripped every title off him, and his stock is slowly falling. And we'll get more into that later when we get Mr. Miguel's New Japan Pro Wrestling report, so just stand by. But who's the superhero? Who's the guy that's going to come save AEW? And it's not Team AEW. Team AEW, unless we get this weird thing, and I know people talked about Eddie Kingston turning and going over and joining Elite and turning on Team AEW, and he would be the only person in that group that would kind of make sense, but I don't know if that's the right direction. But I mean, what are we doing at this Stadium Stampede, this Battle in the Arena, whatever they freaking call it, don't really care. That's really going to do anything except maybe see Bryan Danielson get hurt again. That's my biggest fear this match. I don't know how to get behind this.
Claudio's point in his interview was on Collision or after Collision, I forget if it was on social media, if it was on Collision itself. But that's why he walked away while Bryan Danielson was still doing the promo. Was because, in character at least, he's worried for his friend, and he just won't have any part of it.
Okay, so Mark is here, and he said it shouldn't be Team AEW. It should be Bullet Club Gold or UK. But half of the old Elite, Kenny, Hangman, and Adam Cole, All Out, or Juice Robinson, and that's the other factor. Why are we rushing this? Why are we already creating Team AEW against the Elite in this? I forget what is this? Is this a Stadium Stampede match or Arena?
Anarchy in the Arena.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, Anarchy in the Arena is the official name. Same concept, just different name.
But why are we rushing this?
Here's my only issue is because Tony Khan can't book. Period. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
Well, my biggest complaint is
why sounds good to his internet fans want it, so they got to have it. He's got to keep that that 700,000 that watch his show entertained.
Here's my thing: is why are we rushing this? Why are we already having Team AEW? Why isn't Kenny Omega trying to sort the Young Bucks and make them have a title match that's difficult against them? Why is he not making Okada defend his title? Why isn't Jack Perry? Why aren't these individual matches and building to Team AEW as these guys work together to take down different things until we can build to some type of Team AEW? You're rushing this at Double or Nothing, and it has no precedent. I mean, why is this not happening at All In or All Out? Why isn't there this big match that's Team All Elite versus Team AEW when Team AEW has been built properly to have some passion or some we want to see them finally get their comebacks. Right now, it just feels like a bunch of juvenile delinquents running the asylum.
Basically,
it was no different than Inner Circle and Pinnacle. Look how quick that burnt out.
Cody Rhodes, yes. Cody Rhodes would have been in AEW. This is like being a senior in high school. And
Tony Khan booking, we don't know that. We don't know Cody would be on Team AEW.
Well, in theory, he would be a great guy for... He'd be a great guy for Team AEW.
Where he might have aligned with the Elite just because he was kind of, with them at times.
But he would have been another EVP, so who knows where that would have gone anyways. But this feels like you're a high school senior and you signed up to TA and they send you over to the middle school to help control middle schoolers. I mean, this is just, you walk in the door and go, what in the fuck did I sign up for? I don't know. And then we look at all our Double or Nothing, and we look down the card. We have Will Ospreay versus Roderick Strong for the international title, and you're just like, why? Like, what does this?
And new international champion.
It has to be.
I mean, Jack stuff.
And then we have Will Nightingale versus Mercedes Moné for the TBS title, which we're just like,
it would be a big swerve if Willow actually retains anyhow.
Mercedes.
Willow, but the way they booked this shit, it would be a big swerve to us.
Mercedes Moné's first match. I just, and that's what they're building this pay-per-view on. They're really building it on Mercedes Moné. And then the fact of the matter is, you're going to have Team AEW versus Team the Elite in this Anarchy in the Asylum match. But the main event match is still going to be Swerve Strickland defending the AEW World Title against Christian Cage. And you're just kind of like, there was nobody else. There's nobody else that would have been a threat. Like, And then you have Toni Storm versus Serena Deeb, which might be the best match on the card the whole night. It might be the only thing that's worth some value.
Those two are. Isn't that sad?
And that's talking about in-ring action. That's not talking about character work, because Toni Storm's characters. I know a lot of people love her character, but I just, no, she doesn't do anything for me. She just wants to, yeah.
I liked it when it started, but even I had to sour on him. Just like, okay, over repetitive, just.
Yes, you're absolutely right, Matthew. Swerve does not work as a babyface. I think we've said that. A tweener, yes.
I disagree, kind of. Because when he was in WWE, when he was in NXT, he worked as a face just fine. But the current iteration of his character in AEW, you're right, does not work as a face.
Well, this is not what the fans wanted. The fans fell in love with the heelish Swerve, who could have been the tweener. I mean, Swerve could be on the levels of Stone Cold Steve Austin, but they've turned him into
absolutely.
They've turned him into early babyface Roman Reigns right now. They're trying to force it, and it's going to backfire and become very ugly.
That's a fair assessment. Wow.
Yeah.
But that is fair.
I mean, it's just the way it is. I mean, the way they're trying to force Swerve into this peg hole that doesn't fit. Let him be him. Let him be vicious. But putting him against Christian Cage is stupid. Where's Hangman Page? Hangman Page. Where in the hell is Hangman Page? I know he's the Booch of the Year for us, but I mean, this is the guy who should be pissed off right now, coming out going, oh, he won the title. I mean, this is the Booch that tapped out just so Swerve couldn't win the title, and now Swerve has the title. Where is Hangman Page to follow up on this? No, we go with Christian Cage, who was last seen at Revolution, losing his title to Copeland and disappeared, only to be brought back to go against Swerve on some ridiculous storyline that isn't even necessary.
You want to hear the price for this Double or Nothing ticket? The one I found so far? Floor seat access. You even get a commemorative chair.
Well, people buy those tickets. People be at that show. They'll watch it. I mean, it'll be there. It's in Las Vegas.
$300.
That's too much. That's too much for floor seats at a AEW show right now. It's whoopee.
Oh, I know, right?
Whoopee.
Yeah.
And they're going to be in a big venue, not a small venue. See what?
There's so many tickets available for this thing, and then they've got the entire left, I want to say camera side upper deck 200 section blocked
We have a lot of that. That's a big arena at the MGM Grand. That's a 10,000 seat. I mean, WCW sold out an arena many times when WCW was running Nitro through there. I lived in Vegas and went to shows in that arena when WCW came through. I lived the spirit. That was some of the greatest ruckus. I mean, that was a time era where you got in the wrestling fans and everybody loved one another. Now we got this tribalistic nation where you're either one side or the other, and being in the middle is like a criminal offense in wrestling nowadays. And I'd love to feel like I could be more in the middle, but AEW keeps selling me crap. I can't sit here and do anything for AEW when I look at this pay-per-view. Now, this doesn't mean the talent in the ring doesn't have great talent or can't be, something great, but it's the way they're being booked, they're being used. It doesn't matter. Look at your world champions. Tell me one world champion that is still important in AEW. And I think we've talked about that. Moxley's about the only one we all three can say is somewhat important still in AEW. Look at where Joe's fallen. He was the last AEW world champion, and who did he face last week? Dante Martin on TV and beat him. Cassidy, there you go. And beat him in a match and didn't say jack squat about losing the title. This is Joe. And they just flushed him down the toilet. Swerve Strickland is your first black AEW champion. And he feels like a joke now. You're just like, yeah, can't wait till All In when he loses the title. And that's sad because Swerve deserves a lot better.
Mid-level seats are $107. So you're paying either anywhere from $4 to $75.
Your thoughts, Mr. Clarke?
And I know you I'm not paying shit.
Well, no one's saying pay nothing. I'm just saying, like, they're asking for some fans to spend this kind of money for a product that is not selling me my money's worth.
Right.
$50 for a pay-per-view.
I'm not
it's not even worth that $50 buy. I mean, anybody who's buying this is throwing their money away. And I don't know how well they're going to do. Well, WWE's on the network, so it's a little cheaper, so you don't have to happen that.
Right. But people are sitting there, and someone will sit there and say, "Oh, well, you're either being called. You're saying you're not a real wrestling fan if you don't like AEW's trash, or when you call them out in the trash, we're being told that we've been called every name under the sun for just speaking our opinion, and all we're trying to tell them is we would love AEW to succeed. We would love AEW to step up and step off, and just so there's an option, but they're not giving us that option."
Well, let's talk about the vengeance that's out there. I mean, look at Eric Bischoff and Bubba Ray Dudley. They're being called sellouts, that they're only talking crap about AEW because WWE's paying them because they're under Legends deals or whatever contracts they have with WWE. So WWE's paying them to talk trash on AEW. And I promise you, Eric Bischoff ain't talking trash on AEW to be talking trash on AEW for WWE's sake. That's not Eric Bischoff. That's not Bully Ray. Then tell me why the hell Jim Cornette's pissing all over this. Oh, because he's old and crotchety. He's out of touch with what wrestling fans want today. But why is he usually about, let's say, 80% right most of the time?
Exactly.
Hell, he came out the other day and actually praised Kenny Omega. Go ahead.
Yes. Right. Yes. And he can't stand Omega.
Cornette and Omega make strange bedfellows. So when they can actually agree on something.
Yes.
And then we booked Collision this week to be a stacked deck because it was the first Collision. It was the first Saturday Night Wrestling to be on TBS. So we got an overstacked deck for a TV show that nobody's going to watch next week. You're not going to book that the same way. So the ratings are going to be a mistake. And then we got Dynamite this week that's just like, how do we watch this? How do we even get entertained? Why? I mean, it's so bad. The man who was mostly supportive of AEW on this brand was Mr. Clarke, but he's to the point where he's like, I'll watch it when I watch it, and I'll try to enjoy it, but he don't even want to talk about it anymore.
It's a dang shame we got to call Marty to do the review.
Right?
Of all things.
That'll be you. That'll be you and Marty this Wednesday, right here on the Value of Wrestling.
I'm just saying, like, it's that bad. We gotta bring Marty.
But Matthew Underwood does kind of bring up a point. Tommy Billington is a blue chipper, though. I have to go back and watch that match. I haven't had a chance yet, but I hear a lot of good things.
I think it needs to drop.
I heard that was a solid match. I heard that. So okay.
I'll have to see what he does with the name, because the name of the Dynamite Kid, the original Dynamite Kid, the abusive, I just don't know if that name, there's a lot of bad connotations about Dynamite Kid, the original. I'm surprised he wants to use that name. So hopefully you use that name and make it a good name again, but
it could be worse. It couldn't be any worse than, I believe his real name is David Benoit. considered using.
Hey,
No, no, Dynamite Kid. Using the Dynamite Kid name is better than using Chris Benoit Jr. Yes, I'll give you that, but that's far different of things. We're talking about somebody who committed murder against somebody who was very abusive, abusive on drugs, and was just not a overall nice
Not
person.
everybody knows those stories, though. I don't
No,
think
but-
the larger audience knows those stories. Now, if
Yeah,
you're a
that's
real-
true. Dynamite
if you're a
Kid's
podcast,
name is pretty much
someone
that's
who
an,
really cares about the history. Then yeah,
Right, we
you
know
know
that.
those stories.
we know
But I don't
that.
think
but-
the average audience member knows those stories.
No, I just had to sit there and explain to my wife last night when we were watching the pay-per-view the definition of good heat and go home heat.
yes. Well, all you have to
The
do is
Young
watch
Bucks.
it. Yeah, go home.
heat.
And what happened? Let's give the floor to you, Mr. Miguel Z. Tell us about New Japan Pro Wrestling. What can the fans expect coming up on Tuesday with the Rebound Podcast? What happened last night? Let's go ahead and give you the floor while we're there.
You guys said it yesterday. You've seen it yesterday. If you clicked on YouTube, I did a pre-show for Resurgence. Last night, Ontario, California has seen probably one of the best New Japan cards in a while. Stacked card for the night. Hot crowd. I mean, you got to give it to them. Main event of the night was Jon Moxley and Shota Umino for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, which was a surefire match. I would say match of the year, comes second best in my book, because damn, Shooter can go, and we know Moxley's really good in the ring. But coming out of that, we've had some title changes, which I will discuss on Tuesday. One of them was shocking to me. And to close it out, the Elite showed up on New Japan Television with the scapegoat Jack Perry, and the fans weren't too happy about that. They didn't even react to that point, which was sad. So it kind of shows the level of, we don't care about you guys anymore, and you've made it that way.
Yeah.
And you get all that information on Tuesdays with the New Japan Pro Wrestling Rebound Podcast, brought to you by Miguel Z, right here on the Value Wrestling, right here on YouTube. That is every Tuesday. He breaks it all down for you, gives you all the details. He starts teaching you about who these New Japan wrestling guys are that come into AEW and get ruined, but he's going to teach you why they're a value, why they're important. One day he'll tell us why Okada was once great.
Okada.
But hey, at least Will Ospreay can show up with Collision with some type of different, trunks. Not the same old white. And yes,
but there was title changes at Resurgence. You know one title that didn't change? The TNA X Division title, because it was a non-title match. Mustafa Ali, Leo Rush. Fantastic. This is how you're supposed to do a kickoff show. It's by having a hot match that delivered.
Well,
and Jon Moxley walked out as the...
I was going to say, even NorCal's own Matt Vandergraaf. Stellar performance in his match, in the Strong Survivor match last night. I mean, the kickoff show that got you hyped for the rest of the night.
Mm-hmm.
Way better than any buy-in I've ever seen.
Ooh, right. Damn.
But yeah, folks, Tuesday. We'll talk.
And
about
Moxley walked out with the IWGP Championship. How do you feel about that? I was going to take it and wrestle with Bryan Danielson on Wednesdays on Dynamite.
It'll be the last time he'll defend it on American soil, because I'll tell you right now, the man next in line is going to take it from him. He'll bring it back to the House of Torture, the one they call evil.
It'll be a wait and see how that all plays out going into the future. WWE, let's see, WWE news. Zelina Vega's injured, so she's out. Maxine Dupree taking her spot in the Queen of the Rings tournament. Lashley's out. The tournament looking to look good. A lot of questions of how they're going to play this out. I guess we're going to have to wait and see. We'll see this week as everything changes. Monday will be Raw, so tomorrow Raw, and then the Friday back to SmackDown. Big deal there. We have Cody Rhodes versus Logan Paul, and it seems from everything we're gathering, and even Cody making the tweet, it's for all the gold. The United States title will be on the line against the WWE Undisputed title. It will all be on the line. It's going to be interesting how this falls out. At least there's better excitement about this match than some other people's main event matches for their pay-per-view. And speaking of pay-per-views or PLEs, as WWE says it, it seems as if Dana White has come out and said that it looks like WWE will be moving PLEs back to Sunday nights, as they will start offering package deals between the UFC and WWE, where the UFC will have a major event on Saturday. WWE will have their pay-per-views on Sunday in either the same city, same areas, and then they'll be both packaged together where you can watch them as a Saturday, Sunday combo package. Which kind of, I kind of like WWE on Saturday night PLEs, but we'll see how that goes.
We all did.
Hey,
real quick, I just pulled up the bracket, the King and Queen of the Ring bracket, and some of these matches I'm actually very excited for at this point. If you want me to read them off, what we got coming up.
Well, before you do, we should also talk about who advanced, recently on the live event.
Go ahead. You could shoot. Well, you want me to tell you who advanced on the live event? Let me see here.
I got it right here.
Go ahead. You shoot it.
Kofi Kingston and Shayna Baszler have moved on in the King and Queen of the Ring tournament, a WWE live event on Sunday. Well, today, today's live event in Macon, Georgia, saw Kingston beat Rey Mysterio to advance to the King of the Ring quarterfinals, while Baszler defeated Maxine Dupree to move on in the Queen of the Ring tournament.
And Maxine Dupree lost in spite. It was she was in the spot of Zelina Vega.
Right.
And then of course LA Knight, LA Knight and Tiffany Stratton won their respective for SmackDown.
Yeah.
So LA Knight, Tiffany Stratton for SmackDown, Shayna Baszler, and Kofi Kingston for Raw.
And earlier today, I don't know if anyone's seen the video of R-Truth popping up in a certain entrance during Austin Theory.
Yeah. And Grayson Waller
popping up out of nowhere, enjoying an entrance with the fellas.
And then coming back to what would be considered Gorilla and seeing Shawn Michaels and Triple H, aka DIY. That fool.
Anyways, what is the brackets for the King of the Ring? Or let's start with the Queen of the Ring brackets.
The Queen of the Ring brackets. We have
who's moved on.
Finals. Who's moved on? We have Shayna Baszler versus Io Sky.
For Raw.
Lyra Valkyrie. Yeah, Lyra Valkyrie and Zoe Stark. That's going to be a good one.
And that's going to happen on Raw.
Jackson Jade. That's going to happen on Raw. And then on SmackDown. And then this one looks like it's going to be on SmackDown. Obviously, these two will definitely be it. Nia Jax, Jade Cargill.
Yep.
And in that off, Tiffany Stratton, Bianca Belair.
This is going to be very interesting. Based on Io Sky, it's probably going to be Io. Then the other one, Zoe Stark, should probably be the best one there. Then on the Jade Cargill is going to move on. Will it be Tiffany and Jade, or will it be Bianca and Jade? It's going to be the interesting segment there. The men's bracket for Raw.
Men's, we have Gunther, Kofi Kingston, and we see at the end of Kingston's match at the live event. Gunther damn near caved in his chest after his match was done, so sending a message to Kofi. And then Ilya Dragunov, Jey Uso.
Woo! That's going to be a banger. That's going to be a banger. On Raw. Jey Uso also tweeting.
Oh, go ahead.
Jey Uso also tweeting out that now he controls the Fireflies, and I think that's a very dangerous statement to come out and do. I don't know if you, Mr. Uso, want to. I don't know if you want to control the Fireflies. I think making that statement very boldly puts you in sights of a target that you never wanted on your back in the beginning.
Yes.
I even responded to that tweet saying, with what is to come, we'll see how long that lasts.
I think it's a statement that's a little bold. I wonder if that's intentional or if that's just him having fun with it, but I think he just put a giant target on his back.
Either is possible.
SmackDown brackets.
Uncle Howdy.
Right.
We have Randy Orton, Carmelo Hayes, and LA Knight. Yeah. Against Tama Tonga.
It's gonna be very interesting on SmackDown with the writing here.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on how they do everything there. They have to be very careful.
With
Yep.
those two, definitely on that one. But
yeah,
I'm looking forward to it.
It's going to be very, very interesting.
Yeah, because it says quarterfinals, semis are both on Raw and SmackDown, and then the finals, we already know where that's taking place. But the first round they did have live events to show those ones, which was really good because the fans got a treat. They didn't know what was coming. Just like when I went to NXT when they had the Dusty Classic, we had a couple of matches for the Dusty Rhodes tournament that we didn't know what we were going to get, and got to see main eventers we weren't expecting.
So it's gonna be very interesting how all these brackets come together. We know the winner of the SmackDown, the winner of Raw are going to take on each other at the King and the Queen event in Saudi Arabia on May 25th. It'll be a busy weekend here, gentlemen. We are less than today is the 12th, so 13 days, less than 2 weeks away from this event. And then, of course, we're 2 weeks away
from this Saturday. Oh, God.
Yes, we're 2 weeks away from Double or Nothing, a pitiful book show, and then a highly booked show in Saudi Arabia. And then NXT Battleground will premiere just
pop confetti off on Tuesday's show, though, because that's my 40th, buddy. So I'll sing
to the 4-0 Club
myself before I get into the results.
To the 4-0 Club. Okay, then since you want to put that out there, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Z's birthday's on Tuesday. So let's join along. You all want to sing along, ladies and gentlemen.
No singing.
Here we go. Since we can't be here for Tuesday. And a 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, you old fart. Happy birthday to you. You belong in a zoo.
Cold as dirt, folks. I live in a zoo. You know how many kids I have?
Anyways.
You were trying to spare him by saying happy birthday now. I was going to, actually still am, going to pop something in the video.
Oh, no.
Get ready for that on Tuesday. You can do it again tomorrow on Monday, too, because we can re-announce this. This will be the day before, so it can be happy birthday Eve to you, something like that. But hey, since we're speaking of birthdays, which means we should talk about holidays, we here at the Value Wrestling want to wish every single mother out there a happy Mother's Day from all of us right here at the Value Wrestling. We hope you had a wonderful Mother's Day, and we wish you the best of luck this year and going forward. Anyways,
yeah.
I don't know what else we really have. If there's anything in-depth, is there anything else we haven't talked about? Is there anything really of juicy importance? Mr. Clarke, what's up with the what's up with the Clarke report for this week? I need news report. It's time for the Clarke report with your host, Mr. Clarke.
Anyways, as we have had said in the past, when there were certain WWE releases, I have made the mention that I felt they could have gotten more out of Jinder Mahal, and reportedly he has interest from several independent companies following his WWE release. Mahal was obviously among those who were released after WrestleMania 40, but according to the Fightful Select reports, that a number of top indie promotions plan on reaching out to him for bookings. The site notes that GCW, Black Label Pro, and AIW have all expressed interest in Mahal, and there's also interest in him overseas in Canada. Now, part of that is probably because of his association, or former association, with the Bollywood Boys, who are regular indie presence, in the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, Mahal's no-compete clause ends with WWE in July. Now, I've read a report where he actually wants to do a face run, which is something he never really got to do in WWE. Having the experiences that he has from a TV wrestling perspective, how do you think that could go, in your opinion?
Mahal and GCW. He'd be a great face, because you already know how it's going to go.
Jinder Mahal will wind up in AEW because Tony Khan will sign him for a name. Then you can give him...
Don't curse the man.
Why? Why would you do that?
Because Tony Khan's going to ride that bandwagon where everybody wants Jinder Mahal versus Hook. He will come join Chris Jericho under the learning tree and fight Hook for Chris Jericho.
Oh my God. Oh, don't give Khan ideas. Don't give Mr. Powder Sniff Booking ideas. He's already got enough of the bad ones.
You would think that after dropping him on his head, he might get better ideas, but obviously not. This man can't even sell a neck brace. He can't even sell a neck brace injury. I just want to know why this man ain't pissed off that
I heard the audio from Pat McAfee talking to Khan in his neck brace, and I mean, he was just ripping into him. It was hilarious.
I think that's the truth.
He was like, he can't even sell a neck brace. If you're going to do it, don't move.
So speaking of Tony Khan,
Dun, dun,
on
dun.
Konan's K100, he was talking about
Why
why he shouldn't be comparing WWE to his whole Harvey Weinstein comment. He says, you can't call a company Harvey Weinstein when it was one guy, maybe two, if that effing Johnny Laurinaitis was involved. The thing is, wrestlers are very astute. They're looking to see the landscape, who is where they can better fit. And some people, they've got to be looking at AEW and go, look at all the stars they have. Why would I want to go there? I'd rather stay here. When you have your company owner talking just such outlandish trash, I can see why people who are in WWE that may want to, either they're going to be forced to go out or they maybe just want to do something else. AEW is not going to be the place they want to land. Because look at that representation.
No, and Tony Khan belittling WWE is a bad idea, and he's got people that are there that are still fans and got people in a WWE. I don't think that lives a big taste. And you want to sign big names, and we know WWE is signing up big names. Of course, there's one big name whose contract soon to come up here in a couple weeks and has not. I think it's 3 weeks, and her contract is up, and still hasn't officially re-signed with WWE. Rebecca Quinn, known to the WWE world as Becky Lynch, has not re-signed with WWE, and her contract's up in 3 weeks. Seth Rollins is officially re-signed, so I don't think she's far from signing, but
and that's our current women's world heavyweight champion. It's not even like, oh, she's just on the back burner now, so who knows what's going to happen. They better pay attention. That's all I'm gonna say.
She has a title match coming up at King and the Queen of the Ring in Saudi Arabia, so she may lose that title to Liv Morgan there, and who knows what happens there. I don't think she's leaving the company, but it's interesting that she hasn't signed, but Seth Rollins has been reported to have re-signed.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm sure she'll resign. There's
how many guys that are close to... Go ahead.
I'm sure she'll resign. There's nothing in AEW that she is going to... I don't think she can look at AEW and look at it and go, I can bring this. I'm sure she can think that, but I don't think realistically she can look over there and go... I mean, she has to look at what they've done with Mercedes Moné. Look what they've done with Saraya.
Yeah.
Who's the biggest women's name in Deonna Purrazzo. I mean, that's wifey to you, and have they really done anything to make her feel like she felt more important in TNA than she is in AEW?
Absolutely. And that's what's disheartening.
And Thunder Rosa, they try to make you feel important. Serena Deeb's that emergency call on backup, like, hey, we need somebody to fill in and take a title shot. I mean, Serena Deeb only shows up when they desperately need somebody new or somebody different to get a title shot against the newest champion. I mean, that's the only time we see Serena Deeb really on TV. And the only other reason we see her, she's doing matches to build up her credibility for the match she's taking on. Britt Baker's character's dead.
A part of it because she was out injured for a while.
I understand that,
but even that, your assessment is still not wrong.
No.
Britt Baker's character's dead. Jamie Hayter's kind of a lost cause, even though supposedly they're still injured. I don't know with what. Kenny Omega has reported he's going to get surgery for diverticulitis, so we don't know how long he's officially going to be out. So it was really weird that they brought him in to take him out, to show him in a hospital bed. So, I mean, who's really running AEW if the Elite are completely in charge? Is this just what we're going to get? This crappy storyline? And I mean, I don't know. I hope Tony Khan has somebody to take out the Elite because I just don't see it right now. And trying to make me want to believe.
Part of the point.
Unless they end it, unless we get
the Elite are taking over, so that's what they're going to show for the time being.
Unless we get the end of it.
Kill the wrestling business. Kill the business is what they were trying to go for.
Oh, that's right. The name of their book.
That is their gimmick, but does it really make sense to kill the business, the only company that they can be in right now? Because who's going to want to touch them if AEW goes away? I think they've killed their I think they've killed anything that would make them special in WWE right now. I think Hunter would look at him and go, yeah, no.
Well, they killed their stock. I mean, if you watched last night's show, how quiet the crowd was when they walked in. No one cared.
And it's not like
them.
It's not heel heat. It's just go away boredom. Just like we don't want to see you. Like we don't like this. Like this storyline with him just doesn't inspire anything. Doesn't make you want to get excited. I mean, I can't even get excited about this match, and it's a damn shame with some of the talent that's there. We have Okada and Jack Perry who have some talent. You have Eddie Kingston who's amazing talent. FTR, and you have Bryan Danielson. I will never give the Young Bucks credit. I think they're just flippity floppity flybirds. I mean, they don't do anything for me.
I'm more interested in Jack Perry in New Japan than I am in AEW. Okay.
Thank you.
But I mean, it's like
he came off great last night
with the names that are going. With the names going into this match. Other than that, what is there any really excitement behind it? Can you really get excited? You look at it and go, "Oh, cool." And you're like, oh, they're going to beat each other up. And you just pray that Brian. I mean, the biggest thing I think everybody's thinking is just like, please, Brian, don't get injured. Please, Brian, don't do something crazy. Please, Brian, don't get hurt. I think that's what's probably on more people's mind than, will this match be any good? Will this match serve any purpose? Will this match get anybody over? Will this, if the Elite win, which I assume the Elite are going to win, is this really going to make them any more of a superpower? Is this match going to do anything to make them more, pun not intended, more elite? Is there anything that the Elite gain by winning this match? Then on the other side, this AEW team, AEW gain anything by winning this match? That's the biggest thing. At least when WCW and the NWO were feuding, you knew each side had something to gain. Either NWO was going to win and take over WCW completely, or WCW was fighting to save their company, their brand, what these guys on the WCW brand were fighting for. And at least then, even the heels and the baby faces of WCW, the Horsemen were willing to team up with the baby faces to somebody else. This is just like, this is the best that we have right now.
And all I want to know is this, because like I said, last night was a great show. Eddie Kingston had a banger of a match, hell of a match with Gabe Kidd. How healthy is Kingston going to be going into Anarchy in the Arena? Is he going to be at full health is my question, because he was a lot worse for the wear last night when he left Ontario.
Yeah, he was limping to get back to backstage.
I'm sure Eddie will be fine. Will he get more injured? Maybe, but what do you do with Eddie after this? Eddie's stock has died. His stock has already died in AEW after losing that Continental crown. Well, the beginning of the year, being the Continental Champion, he came in the Continental Champion at the beginning of the year, and by the end of January, he was flatlined. He was just like, And then when he lost the title to Okada, you're just like, okay, that Tony's bored with Eddie. And then it takes what?
So much to get hyped about Kingston, though, because
how much longer did it take? That was a Dynasty event? How long did it take Eddie to come back to even want to get a revengeance on Okada for beating him for that title? Let's talk, what about that? We hadn't seen Eddie since he lost that title, really. And now he's back going, I'm going to join AEW because I want vengeance on Okada. And you're just like, okay. It's a little late, but I guess.
Where you been, son?
It's just like the same story with Swerve and Christian.
If he's not wanting to get back we understand if he's not trying to get the Ring of Honor title back. I mean, not leave it with who has it at the moment. Let him do his thing. It's the best thing that you can do for a Briscoe right now. But other than that,
Eddie's
New Japan
not
knows how to book Eddie better than AEW does.
Eddie's not, to me, a Ring of Honor branded guy. He's more of an AEW branded guy. So his issue should be with the Continental Crown Champion Okada. That is the belt he should be getting back. He lost to his buddy, as they told us in Ring of Honor, Mark Briscoe. So they should be, they're good friends because they teamed up on the last pay-per-view. I forgot. Yeah, no, wait. Yeah, he teamed up with Edge and Briscoe to be the Murder Hawk Truck Monster, whatever their names were. The Rated Truck Chicken Monsters,
Speaking
the Rated
of the Murder
Chicken
Hawk
Kings.
Monster,
He gave a fantastic ass promo.
But that wasn't, it wasn't AEW, so I mean, yeah, I expect that.
But it's nice to remember that he can.
That's why people watch New Japan Pro Wrestling. So when their favorite stars get belittled on AEW, they can go watch and go, oh yeah, they are still great.
Oh, and he didn't even have his braids in or nothing. Like, he had a different look last night. Like, he was way serious.
Because he said something about, you might be expecting the Murder Hawk Monster. Well, I'm going to have to take it old school and be the American Psycho.
Yes.
Anywho, I don't know what to say for AEW.
Apparently,
Go ahead.
Are we ready to steer away from AEW?
Go ahead.
Can we move away from? Okay. Matt Cardona thinks younger wrestlers should work harder to connect with audiences. In an interview with Busted Open Radio, Matt Cardona spoke about the work he puts into connecting with audiences and how he thinks younger wrestlers should follow his lead. He says the fact that they don't blows his mind. He said that Steph DeLander does the same and is currently making more on merchandise than she's paid to wrestle. However, he thinks wrestlers are more concerned with being over in a match than bitch and moan about what they're getting paid. He said, in his quotes, I get to these shows, I bring like a whole mall with me, and I set up one and I'm there. Of course, there's extra money to make, but it's to make a connection with the audience. Whether you want to be nice to them or an asshole heel, you can make a connection. I get to these shows sometimes, I'm the only person selling stuff beforehand. I'm like, what are you guys doing? To them, it's all about the moves. A lot of these independent wrestlers, they have to get noticed somehow. I'm not saying don't do cool stuff. I'm not saying that at all. But why can't you also make a connection with the audience, make some extra money, and then do these cool moves?
That's WWE thinking. Tell me if I'm telling lies. That's WWE thinking. Look at what happens in AEW. Does anybody in AEW seem like they're trying to connect with the fans that are, maybe the low end guys? So they feel like they're
talking about AEW. Remember this too, though.
Well, I know, but I'm talking about in a general concept. If you watch AEW, are the wrestlers actually trying to make a connection with the fans? There's a few names you can talk about that are, but that seems more like a WWE style that they preach and practice.
I told you what
Connect with your fans.
Did after their event in Stockton. They could have spent 2 seconds taking a picture with the young fans.
Well, but that's
signed them off. Oh, we have to go.
That's different. If they're heels, then I don't expect them to sign autographs. They should be heels, because that's who they are. I mean, if you want to keep that,
but they weren't when they were in Stockton. They weren't bringing the heel gimmick. They were just doing their young butt. Same old bullshit.
I believe anybody in the independent scene. I mean, that's the best logic. You need to connect with the fans, making that connection with the fans, whether you're a babyface or a heel, whether you make fans really dislike you and think that you're really that character or not. That's what you need. And I think that is a WWE way of thinking. I don't see it as much in AEW. I think with what he said.
Here's my argument against that. When Colt Cabana was getting his podcast started, what was he selling besides his podcast? He was selling his merch. I mean, this is why the Young Bucks on the indie scene before TNA, I'm sorry, during TNA, after TNA, before AEW was a thing, got on the bandwagon with Colt Cabana. Was because, he's selling merch. He's doing this. He's trying to continue a connection with the audience. And that's a part of what his podcast was about, was furthering his
quick,
brand.
Mr. Clarke, do you have a picture with Colt Cabana? Were you at that show?
I do not have a picture with Colt. The only picture that I haven't kept is with Loki.
I have a picture with Colt Cabana. I'm gonna have to show you. I'm gonna have to post that on our channel, on our page. But yes, Colt Cabana connecting with the fans, selling his merch, and then went in the ring and did what he does best.
And there's a lot of guys, and a lot of women too, who follow that footprint of Colt Cabana, but not enough independent wrestlers do that. And that's what Matt Cardone's really saying, is why isn't everybody trying to do this to make equal or better money than WWE money?
Yeah. Well, and that's what their target should be. But again, I see it as that's a WWE style thing where I don't see as much of that in AEW. And speaking of Colt Cabana, where is Colt Cabana? What is he doing today?
Independence, I believe.
What role is he? Where is he on the level of significance of anything anymore? I mean, he got fired because of somebody, right? Isn't that's the story?
The point is, he's still out there. He's doing his thing as he was before.
Colt should
While
be.
I'm sure a big money contract would be nice with AEW or WWE, he doesn't need it. The same way Matt Cardona doesn't need it.
No.
That is the success point.
Colt should be in the new elite, yes. Colt Cabana
and has the right to call himself that.
Colt Cabana should be in the new elite. If they don't jump on that soon, I don't know what they're going to do. Because they've already used the moniker. They've already played into the CM Punk story and that story going further back. So if they really want to have Colt Cabana back, yeah, he needs to be with the elite, but I don't think he adds anything to the elite. Colt Cabana is never going to be a major player in wrestling unless it's in a minor independent scene wrestling. AEW, WWE, even TNA, he's just never going to be the guy.
The most serious I've ever seen him was in the NWA. This is before Billy Corgan took it over. Yeah. Like his feud with Scrap Daddy over the NWA World Title. He can be serious. He's not just all comedy the way he's been portrayed in other places.
Right.
But yeah, I mean,
he's kind of Dusty Road-esque.
Yeah. Colt Cabana could be in the elite. I just don't know if he adds anything to it, and if they don't capitalize it on sooner than later, it's not going to work.
History and the way they would probably use him, no, I don't think he would add anything to the elite.
Well, I don't think anything the elite are doing is adding anything to anything. I mean, are they making? Is this elite storyline making the company better?
Here's the thing: to us old school fans, this is trash. To newer school fans who don't know the history the way we do, it might have a little more excitement to them.
If you're a hardcore AEW fan and you celebrate everything, and you follow the Bucks religiously, like you're a cult, but
not even that. You have to remember there are some younger fans that just don't know wrestling for the length of time that we do, and you have to keep that in mind of why. So for them, it is the first time. You know what I'm saying?
Colt Cabana versus Jimmy Storm in early Power Days with Mr. Anderson versus Eli Drake. Yeah. All what it is.
There, I sent that photo to our chat, fellas. But yeah, just so you wanted to know about Colt Cabana. There you go. I had that picture in there.
Yeah, okay. Anyways, I guess it's time to wrap this show up and call it a night, gentlemen. I don't think there's anything else unless you gentlemen have something else you want to add.
Let me just look around real quick. See if there's anything that's around there. I think everything I would want to talk about, Miguel's going to cover on Tuesday, really.
Go, if you want to talk about something, go ahead and shoot it. I mean, we got people here chilling.
I'm thinking, okay, so like I said off air earlier, there's some things I missed just because I wanted to fall asleep because it was just too warm in my room.
Right.
So I won't talk about the match, but the build between Gabe Kidd, and Eddie Kingston for that. Oh, yeah, the open weight championship.
Gabe Kidd.
They need to continue to send Gabe Kidd on the. Why do I keep saying Gabe Kidd? I swear I can talk. Yeah. On these media rounds because he has put some of the most entertaining stuff I've seen in a while, and he's just being him. You can tell
exactly
this is more authentic than a lot of wrestlers on media rounds.
Well, yeah. With that said, the press conference, I watched it. It didn't take very long for those two to want to rip each other's heads off. He was just being himself. It was beautiful. And love him or hate him, I mean, it put a rift in my house because I was actually cheering for Gabe Kidd during that match. Getting the evil eye from the Misters who wanted Eddie Kingston to take the win.
Here's my question, though. It's not a direct follow-up, but we know there's these different subsections of Bullet Club, but the only one that really feels like Bullet Club is War Dogs to me. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, that is a very accurate assumption right there. Yeah, they feel more Bullet Club esque of the original and old because they play off of what was at that time the firing squad. That's
I mean,
why
like
it
House
feels
of
more
Torture
authentic.
is cool, but they just don't give me Bullet Club vibes anymore.
No, and I wish Yujiro Takahashi would come out in his Tokyo Pips gear more often because you took it serious.
Yes, he was both entertaining and serious at the same time.
Yeah. So yeah, no, but yeah, the War Dogs definitely feels way more serious. I don't know what is it about him that makes it happen, but you like Gabe Kidd's awesome. Clark Connors is a savage. Drilla Mahoney, that pile driver is nasty. I mean, what more can you say about him? And then trying to explain David Finley to my wife, she was like, "Well, who is he?" And I'm like, "Well, this is who his ties are." And all my son said last night when we were watching the show was like, he goes, "What he did to Jay White was not cool." I said, "Well, you've seen it live. I mean, what else do you want me to say?"
I mean, you may have to show old FCW footage or old WWE footage of Fit Finley.
Yeah.
Just don't show him when he's with what's his name?
Hornswoggle?
Thank you. I'm just like, I get it, but why did Vince McMahon always have to do the most stupid, racially stereotypical? He's Irish, so let's put him with Hornswoggle, a leprechaun. Really?
The big Time's face.
Or she could also
Fit Finley versus Regal, WCW.
Yeah, well, William Regal without any that time, but you also can start watching NXT because the other Finley brother,
Regal. Sorry, you're right.
Brogan Finley, is
right.
about to be on NXT, so you might get a taste of what the Finley name is all about. It's I'm Finley, and I love to fight.
Yeah.
Enough said.
Some things never change.
Ain't that
If
the
I
truth?
could get hold, if I could get a hold of it, I still have some contacts from back in the day, Bushido. If I could get that video of Finley and Thatcher, that was a damn good match. That the boys came from the back and sat and watched that damn thing. Wrestling at its purest.
All righty. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the weekly Roundup podcast right here on the Value of Wrestling. And I think we've covered everything we can think of right now. Come back next Sunday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll talk about everything coming up in wrestling. It'll be that week. We'll have a weekly podcast. The very next week we probably won't because we'll be doing a review show for Double or Nothing after Double or Nothing goes off the air. And then, of course, Sunday, that'll be King and Queen of the Ring from Saudi Arabia. That'll be an early morning show, luckily, because that's going to start at 10 a.m. So that'll be that weekend. So we'll have a weekly.
Long day coming.
We'll have a weekly roundup for next week, but the week following probably not. You can come back tomorrow. I believe we will all three be here for your Raw review. Myself, Mr. Clarke,
until Thursday, fellas.
And the world's best cosplayer of Adam Cole, Mr. Boot himself, Miguel Z will be there. Hobbling along. We'll cover that. Of course, Tuesdays is your weekly Rebound podcast or your New Japan Pro Wrestling Rebound podcast where Miguel Z covers everything in New Japan. And then Miguel Z is going to sit down with Marty Richards and do a whole review show on Dynamite this week. It'll be a different show. We'll have to see how that plays out.
Good luck.
See how Mr. Miguel survives that one. And that should be interesting. Thursdays this week in preview. Friday, your SmackDown post-show review. And Fridays, we have a new show, Catching Up, I believe. Saturday. On Saturdays, Catching Up, which covers some more of the lower-end shows of NWA, Ring of Honor, TNA, and somebody else.
NXT.
Yes, NXT. So you can check all that out. And then we got What Happens This Day in Wrestling History each and every day. That's on the short form. If you want to learn a little bit about wrestling history, catch that. It's a great little video. You get to learn some stuff that you might not know. And we cover all of that. Otherwise, I don't know anything else to put out there to the universe. I think we've covered it, beaten it down. There's not much more to beat in wrestling.
We're not beating dead horses.
Alrighty. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get out of here. So, gentlemen, tell them good night. Tell them goodbye. Tell them fair do. Do what you do. Say good night to the audience.
Good night.
Good night, folks.
That's all, folks.